Record. Hey, you guys, guess what? This is number 5 of story teaser of the Fourfold Formula book that's coming out this summer. What the hell am I talking about? What? We've been having so much fun the last 6 months. I have 30 contributing authors all over the world: Jamaica, Ghana, Florida, Washington, Montreal. I'm talking everywhere, who are telling true stories of their heart, spirit, mind, and body. Compilation book. My co-author, Dr. Markus Wettstein, he gets out of this stuff. You guys, he gets away with a lot of downtime. Because why? Because I'm too loud and he's too introverted. So listen, and you guys are excited. I know you're excited. If you guys don't know James Redfield, who wrote Celestine Prophecy, he's writing our foreword. He sent it to me. It's super amazing. We have 7 media partners out there, you guys. You can hop onto Peggy Willms, WILLMS. No, it's not Williams, and I do not misspell my name. PeggyWillms.com, the author tab. We also have a media tab on there. You can look at our media partners. So what's going on? We're giving you a little teaser tonight of 3 of my authors, their stories. We have Sylvie here. We have Ziggy, who's in a really cool, oh God, look at his girls. What are we doing compared to the Zig monster here? And then I have Andee. So here are 3 of my authors, and we're just going to read about 200, 250 words of our story, teasers, because you're going to race out and get the book. So the book is kind of like a chicken soul in a soup, right? You're going to have little stories, actually a bunch, you guys. The manuscript is already at like 93,000 words. Stop the madness. Okay. Right, you ready? Yes, that's where you say yes, because I'm driving. Yes, because I'm driving the mouse, damn it. All right, let me give you a little bit of a teaser on one of my stories. Here we go. Sure, I lived on sugar, caffeine, and Tylenol. Doesn't every girl who has a busy schedule and migraines? It wasn't until Mr. Whitecoat rolled his eyes at me that I realized I might have answered his question wrong. Peggy, what do you eat on an average day? My doctor asked. Well, some days I might have cream of wheat and grape juice for breakfast. Then I might have a Coke and some crackers and maybe an apple for lunch. Oh, and sometimes I might grab a Twix. My mother interjects. I make her breakfast every morning. I mean, she has lunch money. I make her dinner every night. And I thought to myself, yeah, how's that going for me? First, she had no idea that when I roll in at 11 p.m. at night after school or after a sports event, that fish sticks, green beans, and mac and cheese are not that delicious. She would place leftovers in the microwave for me to heat up. And no, I didn't do it. I'd been burying my food at the bottom of the trash for months. My grandmother also refuted the fact that I had eating issues. She says she has a huge appetite for her size. My siblings and I rotated eating out with my grandparents every Thursday on payday. So apparently I ate like Paul Bunyan every 3rd Thursday of the month. So I was good to go.
That's great.
I relate to that nutrition, by the way. Like I also grew up in that sort of way. I
know, people. I mean, come on. But it's, yeah. And so some of that stuff, you know, and some of our stories, you guys, this is the thing about authenticity, like transformation, right? So reading these stories of you guys, and I know you've heard me say this 1,000 times, but I just wasn't prepared. I was, you know, we were getting them in and I was editing them and sprinkling some dust, and I was like, they were heavy. And part of the reason that I think our readers and listeners, when we turn this into an audiobook, are going to resonate is that we're not solved, right? All of our transformations still carry on, and we ebb and flow through the stuff that doesn't necessarily it's not going to always go away for us. So I still struggle with some of my stories. I don't eat Twix anymore, or Coke. I'm drinking chamomile tea. All right. What are you drinking, Ziggy? Jack and
coffee, because I'm a man, damn it.
Because I'm a Viking. All right, let's go. Sylvie, will you read us a teaser of your story? And I shouldn't be joking because some of the stories are a little heavy. So go ahead.
That's okay. That's okay. And I laugh because, anyway, I'll say it after. I'll read it and I'll say it after. Okay. So as one of my friends would say, I'm a recovered captive corporate human resources senior manager, a golden handcuff servant with over 40 years experience at the international, national, and original level. For as long as I can remember, I had been a very ambitious, successful, high achiever, performing professional until 2009, when everything collapsed. Up until then, I quickly moved up the ladder of the corporate human resources world, being expatriated to Paris in 2004. I became manager of the worldwide PeopleSoft HR project for a large French group. For 6 years, I had the time of my life traveling the world, being a change agent and delivering to the highest standards in fields I was passionate about. The high demand I put on myself while being constantly jet lagged really put a toll on my health, which I had not put as a priority. With good genetic and no history of major health in my issue, I never prioritized my health. And I have a back bad, and that was my frequent excuse not to exercise. In March 2009, I went on a sick leave for depression, 1 long year away from work, which turned into several years of soul searching, has brought me to who I am today. For someone who always excelled and was skilled at multitasking, not being able to function was extremely hard to accept. And when I say not able to function, I mean just putting out the trash was extensive effort. My day started with drinking coffee and laying on the couch watching TV. I was even unable to read a novel during the first few months because I had no concentration capacity. I had gained 90 pounds, felt disgusting and uncomfortable. My clothes size increased to 2x, and my weight gain and declining capacity exacerbated my mental health struggle. So I was say that being in corporate, my style is corporate writing. So,
No, you did a great job. That was part of the that was part of the blessing I had in this, because remember, when we write our own stories, we skip words, we skip time frames. We're not necessarily chronologically going, when I was 13, this is what happened. And so that was the blessing I had as the reader and the editor to go, well, what happened in this decade and why do we bounce it? Because we're different when we're on the keyboard. So that is part of what I loved, is seeing the different types of writing and kind of not forcing, but encouraging you guys to peel back the onion and make me cry. Andee?
so stay tuned for the rest.
Go ahead, Andee. Hit us with your best shot.
All right. When I minimize my addiction story, it's always something like, things were terrible, then I woke up, and now things are good. However, the road to good is filled with memories, often ones where alcohol was simply the background noise. It's filled with hazed images of the train pulling into 8th Street Station and every day thinking, is today the day I jump in front of it? It's filled with the images of being in my early 30s with a degree from Columbia, yet not being able to improve my employment beyond restaurant work while wearing a cartoon on my visor. A restaurant without working air conditioning where I was consistently abused by patrons and manipulated by superiors. It's filled with memories like the ones from Thanksgiving 2015, when I sat outside on the porch of my parents' house, freezing to death, chain smoking, and sucking down a bottle of some insignificant red because I was confronted with some adversarial argument I did not invite. It wouldn't be until I gained clarity in my sobriety that I learned those arguments were intentional, brought upon by unhealed family for the sake of reaction. Visions are embedded in my mind of peeling my face from a pillow every day at 2 p.m., hungover, and reaching a greasy fist into styrofoam containers I slept next to, filled with cardboard fries covered in coagulated cheese. And within seconds of opening my eyes, I'd shovel those cold fries directly into my mouth without thought. And I remember the brown stains between my legs from progressively getting heavier and the brown loose tobacco lining every purse I owned. So much brown. And those are the sorts of memories that up until 2018 filled my life. And then one night during early January 2018, my now ex-boyfriend, whom I was in a long distance relationship with, dumped me at an airport in the middle of the night when I didn't have a flight back home. And that's my teaser.
Isn't that like that story when I was typing? I loved every story. The visualization in how you write right? It like I was laying on that pillow. You know what I mean? And I came from 25 years in corporate America, so I related to Sylvie as well. But that particular scene takes us to those dark movies that you see on TV, that addiction and the things you see, like the intervention shows. And I mean, you took me scarily in there with my hand going in the fries. Like, Ziggy, couldn't you feel that?
You
Like,
could literally paint that with incredible detail by just reading.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just hearing
it's
about
awesome.
the cold,
Incendiary imagery.
just hearing about the cold fries, I was like,
But yeah, but you don't.
I would order that stuff at 4:00 in the morning. Like the bar I used to go to their kitchen closed at 3, and I'd take that shit home with me, and then I'd wake up next to it. I mean, like this was a whole era where I was just asleep, but I have like imagery of that, like imagery of those days. Life now is totally different, so I can't wait till people actually read the story. But
I know it's, I can't either. I can't either. I'm so excited.
The crazy part about
thank
that though is when you're half in the bottle and you still think it tasted good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Good
Before
job.
time.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, both you guys. All right, Ziggy, take us on a journey. Share some of your story, buddy.
Okay, so early in my career, I was told by a barber with over 6 years of experience that the first 2 years of barbering is just a job. But if you can make it beyond that, it becomes a place to kind of get to know people, create relationships, see your friends. At a time, I didn't realize how true that statement would become. I'd been working with our family shop when I first met this family that is part of my first memory. And the mom came in with her 4 sons. There was a baby in the car seat, 2 toddlers, and this 14-year-old kid. After their first visit, they kind of quickly became more than clients. They became friends, right? So the mother would confide me with her struggles with her 14-year-old son about his attitude or some school and issues at home, and the 3 most common complaints, that you hear from parents with teenagers. So the barbershop setting depicted in movies is pretty accurate. Small setting, chill atmosphere, lots of chatter, definitely eavesdropping, often interjections from other people. Therefore, it wasn't a shock when my dad, 4 chairs away, chimed in with a bit of advice for this mom with the 4 kids. And with a head nod pointed in my direction, and my father kind of gruffed at me. He goes, "My son was pretty similar at the same age." So I kind of started listening to both sides. My position allowed me to inconspicuously relay to the kid other ways, which I learned to approach difficult situations by myself. I said, "Young man," I said, "believe me or not, a lot of the things our parents tell us first sound bossy or unfair. But trust me when I tell you, it's because they're trying to save you from a harsh lesson. And it's a lesson they already learned themselves."
That's
So
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
My story has a bit of a different approach because I learned my lessons from behind a barber chair. I get to take bits and pieces from every relationship and kind of, I pull, believe it or not, I pull a lot that's transformed me over 20 years, from seeing both the shortcomings of people, what people go through, to the successes people go through. I get to thrive through all of the highs and lows with thousands of people, which sounds really crazy when I say it out loud. But you figure you're cutting hair 15 minutes at a time, you're cranking through 40 heads a day. You take away a piece of each one of them, spread it across 20 years, 6 days a week. And it's a mess up there, but you learn so much about not just yourself and the people individually, but about humanity as a whole. And it's changed so much over 20 years. I can't imagine what's going to be what it was like for Eddie at over 60 years. It baffles me. I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of terrified at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, what if no wonder people end up bitter? Everybody sucks. Like, what if that's the case? Like, because those interactions for that individual could have very well painted that picture. And that's what they took away from their experience. I try to keep it on the lighter, goofier, optimistic side. I mean, I'm a dude at 37 years old sitting in a room with decorated by LED lights, Legos, and toys. Like, but it's, I'm not, I did everything here. I made that hotel, damn it. You know what I mean? But like,
Gorgeous setup. It's great. I mean,
thank you. My wife is awesome. When I first moved in, we were long distance, got married. When I first moved in, she goes, "You need a place to go and just be yourself for a little bit." So I went to Home Depot, bought a bunch of lumber, and I anchored 2x4 framing into the grout, like blasted it right through the tile without a tile saw, nothing. And then all the brick that you see is the panels, because I wanted it to feel like back home in New York. And then, but if you walk into the house, it's all beachy and happy. And she's like, "Well, how are we going to make this fit?" And I'm like, "I love you. I don't know. What do you want to do?" She's like, "I don't know, but we got to do something because it's a monstrosity. It's literally half our living room." We went to Ollie's and I found tongue and groove flooring. It's like kind of whitewashed. And I started blasting nail gun through the tongue and groove boarding. It looks like a fishing shack. So like, and you walk and you see this beachy front, pretty colors in this cool little fishing shack with pictures and stuff hanging off of it. So it's worked.
Just having a great time.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna do so good in your interviews. He's so.
Sorry,
no, stop. No, I'm just sitting here thinking how interviewable, how much fun, because it's so interesting to be on the other side of the mic, right? So it's like when I'm holding the mic and interviewing people, and then all of a sudden when they're interviewing me, I'm like, oh, this is kind of, interesting. So it's going to be great fun.
This one's especially good because I can change my voice.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's well, we don't need a princess right now, but maybe the next book, or some audio different, what am I trying to say? Audiobook. I can't.
Whatever you want.
Okay, good. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for coming tonight. We're going to have about 3 more authors in the next one. This is teaser number 5, and I super appreciate you guys doing this and giving everybody a glimpse of your amazing stories. And again, I'm so honored to be a part of this because you guys are all amazing. And I don't make stuff up. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. All right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you very soon. Say goodbye to everybody.
bye.
Bye.